Tonight, I just want to tell you that you got this. All right. Because I understand personally from my own experience that sometimes life can be pretty hard, can be pretty lonely. It can be almost unrewarding in its own pursuits where you work a lot. And it seems like even though you are hitting milestones, you are hitting goals, you are moving forward, it just never feels like it's enough. And the reason, typically speaking, it doesn't feel like it's enough is because there are certain individuals who grow up who have a lot of insecurities around achievement because they were perhaps underachievers. I was in that category. And underachievers typically they have an inferiority complex. Now, keep one thing in mind when we talk about complex is that feeling inferior and feeling superior, they're two sides of the same coin, which means that people who have a superiority complex, they have an ego around feeling like they're better than other people. So they kind of walk around with that air, like I'm just better, and they're arrogant, and you can kind of sense that. People who are inferior have an ego around not feeling like they're good enough, which means you can always find, you can always look at somebody's situation and find out how it's better than yours in some way. Whether it's financially, whether it's their relationships, whether even it's their state of mind, right? Their state of happiness, um, and of course, the shadow side of each complex is its opposite, right? Which means that you can't have one without the other, typically speaking. Uh, so what that means is the people who act superior, they do that because they're afraid of feeling inferior, because deep down inside they are insufficient. They do have insecurities, and they mask those insecurities and insufficiencies with that strong ego. And the people that have an inferiority complex, the ones that are feeling inferior around their own achievements, uh, they secretly feel like they can do a lot better, and a lot better than a lot of the other people that they see, that they feel inferior towards, right? Like they look at other people and they're like, how much better than that guy? Or I can do way much better in this particular situation. Now, things kind of balance themselves out in different ways. So the people that are superior, typically they'll have experiences, hopefully, that'll check them, right? Where they think that they're something, and then the situation will show them that they're not, right? And so that ego will crack, and they'll get to a level where reality is more clear, and it's painful. And same thing with the people that are inferior, right? Which means that you feel like you are superior to somebody, but you realize that your own skills as they are, the person that you are now, again, is insufficient to actually get you there. So you thought you were, right? You felt inferior, you thought that you could be better, but in fact you weren't. And I had a little bit of an ego like this in sales when I first began. When I was new, I was like brand new, and I'm like, I'm better than all these people. Now, the the fact that you have that thought doesn't necessarily mean that you should make it wrong or cast it aside or even necessarily pursue it as such, but it should just be an indication to you that you feel like you can be more than you are. So if you remove other people from the equation, it's just really about how you feel about where you can go. Now, the problem is that when you construct an ego around it, because I was checked, I was like, I got into a company first sales role, and believe me, I was not better than other people. That was a reality check, right? But that's okay. The last thing that you want to do is though crush your vision, right? So crush your enthusiasm and your motivation for wanting to become better. You just have to separate your desire to become better from other people, right? That's where the dissatisfaction comes in, right? That's why I said that you got this at the beginning of the video, because fundamentally, we're going to go through hard times and we're going to feel as though other people are ahead of the game in some category. Um, like for me, for example, I'm, just something that I'll share with you is that I've talked about this before, but I'm really seeking for my next relationship to be my future wife, right? Future mother of my kids. I don't really want to date around, do anything casual unless it's leading in that direction. Now I see other people who are in that position where they're already married or they already have like a couple of kids, and I'm like, man, like I got some catching up to do. And I speaking to my buddy who's a manager over here, and he was telling me, you got to just take it easy. You got to relax a little bit because all of that extra added stress, that anxiety is not serving you. He's a naturally chill guy. So you could say it's easy for him to say, but he knows something. He clearly knows something, you know, like he's got a positive mindset. He's got a good mood. Like, but the thing is that I'm not asking him for financial advice, right? Because you might be thinking to yourself, well, I don't want to take advice from anybody who's not in a position that I don't want to emulate. But they know something. Everybody knows something. And he was telling me, like, that's actually going to harm you because it's going to harm your body physically. It's going to harm you mentally. You're going to get yourself in a mood, and it kind of feeds back into itself. And I already knew that, but I need reminders. Like I said, we need reminders on a regular basis. Even the ancients talked about this, that all knowing is remembering. Enlightenment is remembering, is remembrance. That's what it is. So just remember, right? This is just a reminder to let you know that you got this. Don't look at other people. Do your best to kind of shut yourself away from other people's achievements in any category, whether it's business, whether it's money, whether it's relationships, whether it's whatever it is that you're pursuing. I guess those are the main categories. Um, and just to give yourself some credit, and some props as you kind of live through your day, because if you don't do that, nobody's going to do that for you. It's very likely that some people will, but if you're not constantly giving yourself respect, giving yourself credit, giving yourself love, when somebody else gives you that compliment, it's not going to land because your self-worth is so low. I used to be like this when I was a kid, and you might have the same experience where somebody would say something good about you or give you a compliment, and you would almost have like some insecurity around it. Like you wouldn't know what to do with it. You thought it was insincere, or you would try to deflect it or try to change the subject or laugh it off. You couldn't let it land, right? And I learned this much later in life. And the reason that occurs, by the way, is when we do that, when we deflect, is because we don't even believe that about ourselves. So, really establishing a positive relationship with yourself, one of respect and love, communication, right? Talking to yourself on a regular basis. Like, I got you. Like, we're here, right? We can handle this. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter what you think, what you do, what you feel. I'm going to love you either way. You're self parenting yourself, right? You're having these conversations, and you can do it formally, right? Where maybe it's not so natural to you in day to day life. So, you have to do it in a form of like a meditation where you sit down, you put everything aside, and you just give some time to just connect with yourself for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long you need. Because anything that good that happens, you're not going to be able to take advantage of it if you haven't been establishing that relationship, because you're going to feel as if you're not, like, you have no value or no worth. So why the hell would anything good happen to you? And you're going to sabotage yourself. So when I talk about like self-love and self-relationship, it's not this woo-woo thing. It's like a real thing. It's not law of attraction either. It's just this real thing where you're going to be much more able to expand yourself and give yourself to others. And when others give to you, you're going to be able to receive it because you're more whole, right? Because you're signaling to yourself that you love and care and respect yourself. And that's the realest connection that you're going to get. Aside from the connection of, with God, or if you believe in the universe, the source of everything, if you have that communion, if you've ever felt that, uh, that also has that quality of being separate from the world, separate from others. It's just like the supernatural connection that you have. But an equally important connection, I would argue, in day to day life, sometimes it's more important when you're able to connect with yourself because you're here, right? Your physical body is here. So you can touch yourself, you can hear yourself, you can, like, your senses, you're experiencing yourself with your senses. So you got to establish that relationship as being really good. That's why I always talk about, the meditations and the working out and the diet. It's not just for the process, just for the outcome, just for the doing things, just for establishing a habit, just for creating the life that you want. It's because you become better. It's almost like a part of you is fragmented away from you, from what who you think you are, and that part needs to be introduced through that self connection. Because if that's not introduced by you and for you, right, and to you, then things are just not gonna, you're gonna be confused as to why things go your way and then don't go your way, why you're feeling the way you're feeling and then not feeling the way you want to feel, and why you're thinking this way, and why you're falling off the path and now you're judging yourself. But if you're really connecting with yourself always, you you form this bond that's basically, you're there with yourself no matter what happens. So you're always, it's almost like you're a kid and you're walking with your own parent. Like imagine you had a parent, maybe the parent actually existed or you didn't have one, but you imagined that you would want to have the parent who would be able to guide you perfectly and just be the perfect role model for you every step of the way. You know how you hear people say oftentimes, "Oh, my dad is my hero, my mom is my hero," right? So imagine you had that person in your life, and then you're just there with them all the time, like now. But that's you, right? But that person is you. It's not some other person. It's actually you. It's very empowering. It's very empowering, right? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. To treat yourself with kindness, with respect, and you got this, right? In the hardest times, remember that you've pulled through. It's been however many decades for you, right? Maybe 2 decades, maybe three, maybe four, and you're still here. So just take that to the bank, right? And you got this, right? No matter what happens, you got this, and I'm here to support you. So that's it for me for tonight. If you like the video, you can like it, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be starting that community soon on Skool. So that's going to be pretty cool. And yeah, if there's anything in the meantime, drop it in the comments, shoot me a question, and I'll talk to you soon.